Bhakti ma'am, who is the main organizer of this unique committee, has given each and every student the beautiful chance to increase their theoretical aspect as well and their practical aspect as well. So under the guidance of Bhakti ma'am, today I am going to explain you the topic living world, that is the first chapter of our 11th standard. So let's begin this living world. So what is this chapter? हम ये chapter क्यों पढ़ रहे हैं? The reason is this is the main introduction of biology. We have taken PCB stream, so we know that biology deals with the living world and the living organism. We have seen the horse galloping, we have seen the birds chirping, all these sights attract us. But how this living world is moving and what are the aspects that are guiding these living worlds are necessary for this chapter. So let me ask you a question. How can you judge the person is living? हम कैसे ये बता सकते हैं कि ये जो बंदा है, जो आदमी है, वो जिंदा है? We have 4 to 5. We judge 4 to 5 criteria for that. Let me start with that. Okay. The first one, growth. First one is growth. Growth means what? Increase in mass or increase in number of individuals. For example, we have seen a child, 1-year child, and a 10-year-old boy. 1-year child get transformed into 10-year-old child just because he has grown in height, in mass, and in mental ability as well. So if you are talking about growth, so we know living organism comprises of both plants and animals. And not only these two, we have microbes as well. We have seen all this. You may not have seen microbes, but you may have done the experiments of onion cell and cheek cell in the 9th standard. You remember it? So these 3 criteria. Other than this, we have protozoans, fungi. We will read about that. But the main 3 are these 3: plants, animals, and microbes. Plants we have seen. If we plant a twig, we see in further years. For example, I plant a mango twig. After years and years, I will see it will grow up. It will be transformed from a herb to a big tree. So that's the growth. So how can we define growth? Growth is actually increase in body mass and number of individuals. I explained you this aspect. Let's talk about what is number of individual increase. For example, if I say India has 130 crore people population, what does that mean? There are 130 crore people. That includes the adults, the young people, the middle-aged people and the children, right? So that is what day by day we are reproducing, we are increasing the number of species of ours, right? So that is increase of individual, that's the growth. But let me contradict this. For example, I have a mountain. We have heard about several, like Mount Everest we have heard about. The Mount Everest is decreasing or increasing 1 centimeter, 2 centimeter. So what is the reason? For example, let's say this is a mountain. One day there was a snowfall. So what happened? Some amount of snow gathered on about this. So what actually happened? The height was this, but height became this. So growth is, we can see the growth in non-living factors as well. We know that this is a non-living creature, but this, the plants, animals and microbes are living. So we can say that this is present here also and here also. But there is a difference. What's the difference? Extrinsic growth and intrinsic growth. Now you will ask me, what is this? Extrinsic growth. That means something that is X means outer side. That means something that is external. Something that is from outer side. Something that is not from inner side. So if the mountain has snow deposit on it, that means on the above surface of this some snow came externally and deposited on it, and that led to increase of height. But some other day, let's say wind came and again this was moved away. So that's a reversible process. But when I am talking about intrinsic growth, that is internal, जो अंदर से होती है. For example, if a plant has grown, for example, there was a small twig that was transformed into a tree, you cannot convert that tree into the small thing. That is irreversible, and that is actually the internal one. And internal growth is actually seen in plants, animals and microbes. You cannot cut your height, or you cannot just cut the plant side. You can cut the plant side, but you cannot make it again the same size. You can just do the you are deforesting, but it's not the same thing as you are cutting off the growth, right? So this you may have understood. Now, there is a criteria given in the NCERT, that is characteristic feature and the main feature or the defining feature. So what is characteristic feature? Let's talk about that first, and then you will tell me what is growth. Is it a characteristic feature or it is a defining feature? Characteristic feature. What is characteristic feature? For example, I say I am kind. I say I am happy. I am always happy. So that's a character of mine. That's a habit of mine, or you can say that's a something that is
behavior.
That is a behavior of mine, right? It can be shown by me. So this characteristic feature is actually the character, right?
Mental growth.
Yes, the growth is actually the character of both non-living also and living also, right? If I classify it as extrinsic, intrinsic, then you have the classification. But if I say growth, it can be seen in non-living as well and living as well. Okay? Now if I talk about defining, if I say you to define something, that means इसके बिना काम नहीं चलेगा. वो जो लिविंग है वो सिर्फ यही कैरेक्टरिस्टिक शो करेंगे, उसके अलावा किसी में भी ये कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स विजिबल नहीं होंगे. दैट्स व्हाट इज डिफाइनिंग. सो क्या ग्रोथ हमको सिर्फ लिविंग में मिलता है? हम तो उसको उसका टाइप नॉन लिविंग में भी देख सकते हैं, राइट? सो वी कैन से ग्रोथ इज अ कैरेक्टरिस्टिक फीचर बट नॉट द डिफाइनिंग फीचर, एंड यू हैव द रीजन फॉर दिस. व्हाट इज द रीजन? Extrinsic growth is seen in non-living, intrinsic growth is seen in living. You understood it? Now the next thing. Now let's talk about unicellular. Okay? Unicellular organisms. What is unicellular? Unicellular organisms are those, uni means one, cellular means one cell. Those organisms that have only one cell. So those organisms that have only one cell, how will they increase in body mass, or how will they increase their individuals? See, increase unicellular, for let's say we have an amoeba. It has only one cell. What it will do? It will do binary fission, it will break. So it is growing as well, it is reproducing as well. Let me first introduce you what is reproduction. Okay? Reproduction is what? This is the second feature, this is the first one, and I am writing here second one. This is reproduction. Reproduction is what? It's a process of making individual of same kind. That means a dog will give birth to another dog. Cat will give birth to another cat. Humans will give birth to another human, having the capability of reproducing, the offspring, the other children that are born that have the capability of giving rise to some other children in their next generation. That's what I am going to say. So this is capability to reproduce. Okay? So these should be capability to reproduce. Okay? So this is reproduction. So the reproduction, we know how many types of reproduction we have. Two types of reproduction. Sexual reproduction is also there. Asexual reproduction is also there. Sexual reproduction in which gamete formation takes place. Gamete formation, that means fusion of male and female takes place and the offspring is born. Gamete formation. But okay, and one more thing, we have two parents. That means one is female and another is male. We know this. Now talking about asexual. What is asexual? Here only one parent is there. Single parent is there. That does not mean there's single parenting. It is something called, for example, we have read about regeneration, binary fusion. There is no gamete formation. We cannot say this is no gamete formation.
No sex cells.
No sex cells are present. Okay. Next thing is one parent, and let's talk about some types of asexual reproduction. We have read it in lower classes. Let's just again brief it out. The first one is binary fusion. What is binary fusion? Simply, it is the amitosis. What is amitosis? Amitosis is like the simple nucleus breaks, the cytoplasm divides, the cell is divided into two daughter cells. Okay, I am using the term nucleus. It can be a nucleide for the prokaryotic cell and a nucleus for eukaryotic cell, because you know in prokaryotic cell the nucleoid is present instead of nucleus, because they always have a ruptured nuclear membrane. right? So we call it as nucleoid. So when I'm talking about binary fission, we have the example. What's the example here? Your favorite amoeba. Then you have the paramecium. Okay. So these are. The second one we are talking about is regeneration. Regeneration is something. For example, you have seen the lizard at your place. What does the lizard do? The tail of the lizard gets cut, and after some time it regrows and fulfills the whole, retain its own size. The lizard retain its own size. So same happens here in regeneration mode of asexual reproduction. What actually happens? A planaria organism, it cuts itself into 3 parts, or accidentally it gets cut. So every part, for example, mouth gets cut, the mouth will regenerate the whole body. The stomach will regenerate the whole mouth as well as the legs and whatever. Legs is not there, but I would say the entire body would develop. Okay. Then regeneration, I will say planaria and there. Planaria we can see. Then we have seen fragmentation. You know, when we can see fragmentation is generally seen in Spirogyra. Spirogyra, what happens? The whole Spirogyra is a ribbon-like structure. Let me just draw here. Okay. This is a Spirogyra, somewhat like this, and we have like thylakoids are present, somewhat like this. Okay. So what will happen? This will break from some points. Okay. This will become this. This will become this. This will become this. And what will happen? This will grow individually. This will grow individually, and this will grow individually. So this is what is fragmentation. Then we have another multiple fission. You know what is multiple fission? We have read about binary fission. It's actually the fission. Fission means breaking. Fusion means formation. So what actually happens in multiple fission? What happens? A single parent parent organism give rise to many cells. In binary means two. Bi means two. Multiple means many. So many offsprings are formed. So this all is about reproduction. Okay. So let us tell what is. It is a characteristic feature or a defining feature. It's actually the characteristic feature. The reason is very simple. See. Let me ask you a question. Is reproduction necessary for our life? क्या reproduction के बिना life नहीं चलती? We have seen various organisms like mules. What is mules? I would say the Hindi name. It's actually खच्चर. If you have gone to Vaishno Devi or some other place, you have seen mules. So mules क्या है? They are actually the hybrid of horse and donkey. So these organisms do not reproduce. They do not give rise to offspring. They are again and again hybridized by horse and donkey. So this is mules. In mules we do not see reproduction. Then you have read about bee, honey. Honey bee, we have a queen bee, we have the worker bees. So worker bees, the male worker bees, they are sterile. Sterile means they are non-reproductive. But still they are living now. So we can say this is a characteristic feature. Other than these, we have another example also. We have sterile human couples. We have seen various human couples that do not give rise to their children, right? So this is actually defining. It's not a defining feature, it's a characteristic feature, because without reproduction also we can continue our life, we can sustain our life. So that's a defining feature. Now come back to this. We were contradicting something about unicellular organism, right? So what does unicellular organism do? If they have to grow, they have to reproduce. So can we say in, I'm talking about unicellular, don't confuse it with multicellular because it generally gives rise to confuse it. It's actually, in unicellular organism we have, let's say amoeba, paramecium. What they do in these, I would say, growth and reproduction are mutually inclusive terms. Inclusive means what? Inclusive terms means that is they are included in a particular criteria. That means अगर वो growth करेंगे तो reproduction अपने आप हो जाएगा और reproduction करेंगे तो growth अपने आप हो जाएगा. That's the reason we are saying this mutually inclusive terms. Did you get that? Okay. Now we are done with growth and reproduction. Now let's talk about something else. These were two characteristic features. Now we'll talk about something that is defining us. That is only present in us. That is just defining feature. So we will talk about the third feature. that is metabolism. What is metabolism? Metabolism is, I write the definition, sum total of all the chemical reactions in the body of organism. Okay? So what is it? Sum total of all chemical reactions. What is chemical reactions? Chemical reaction is like you are telling that we are studying biology, chemical reactions kahan se aaya? But the entire body, either you are talking about human body or any other creature's body, we have the chemical reactions present. Chemical reactions are involved. For example, अभी तक हमने क्या क्या पढ़ा है? We have read about photosynthesis, right? What happens in photosynthesis? Glucose is formed with the help of carbon dioxide and oxygen. So again the chemical reaction is taking place. Then we have read about digestion. What happens in digestion? You eat proteins, carbs, carbohydrates. Then you eat another nucleic acids, and whatever you eat, they are again digested. That means chemical reaction is occurring ना. तभी तो हमारा food digest हो रहा है. It's converting from one form to another form. तभी तो chemical reactions हो रहे हैं ना. Then the third is, आपने digestion पढ़ा, respiration पढ़ा. What is respiration? आप oxygen लेते हो, how does that it convert into ATP? That's again a chemical transformation. So these all are metabolic reactions taking place in your body. And in metabolism we have again two categories: anabolism, catabolism. What is this? Okay. So at first, if you अगर आपको कोई चीज यूज करनी, फॉर एग्जाम्पल यू हैव अ चॉकलेट एंड यू हैव टू यूज इट, यू हैव टू ईट इट, व्हाट यू विल डू, यू विल ब्रेक इट, राइट? सो सेम वे इन द बॉडी, इफ द बॉडी हैज टू यूज द एनर्जी, इट विल ब्रेक इट्स कंपोनेंट. फॉर एग्जाम्पल इट इज ग्लूकोज, इट विल ब्रेक इट इनटू स्मॉलर कंपोनेंट्स एंड देन इट विल यूटिलाइज इट इन द फॉर्म ऑफ एनर्जी. द सेम इज एनाबॉलिज्म, दैट इज breaking down of energy. What is catabolism? It is actually storing of energy. For example, I have a chocolate and I have to make just a big storage for it. I'll eat it someday again when I'll require it. So what I'll do, I'll just store 1 chocolate, 2 chocolate, 3 chocolate. It's the same way body does. What does the body do? It collects all the material that are not in use in the present. It will store it somewhere, and that is again catabolism. Clear? Now, let's see, is it a characteristic feature or defining feature? If metabolism, have you ever seen any other chemical reaction? If you will say like this is a chemical reaction, it's also taking outside the body, we can do the chemical reactions in the laboratories, but still understand it is written sum total of all the chemical reaction in the body of organism only that are taking place inside your body are metabolic reactions. Okay, so this is again the defining feature of human being, or not only human beings, all the living creatures. Okay, now when I'm talking about metabolism, still I have a contradiction. What's the contradiction? In you have read about RBCs, WBCs. We know all the chemical reactions taking place in the body. We are reading biology, we know it. So how we came to know? Because we perform some reactions outside the body. We cannot take the microscope inside your body and see like this chemical reaction is taking place. So we have some reactions. So what were these reactions? These were actually the living reactions outside the body. These were not metabolism. These were actually living reactions taking place outside the body that we do in IVR, that is the hybridization technique, or whatever we do, that are only the living reactions and not the living creatures. Okay. Now the fourth one, that is consciousness. What is consciousness? Consciousness is something that you respond to something. That means, if I called you, if I call somebody, hey please come here, so he will listen to me and he will respond to me, right? So that is consciousness, and in scientific language we call this as stimulus.
Sense organs.
Stimulus. And how will we respond to this stimulus? By the presence of our sense organs, or we call it as receptors. For example, somebody has made something, we are passing from a hotel and we have seen some nice food smelling from there, fragrance of food, we can smell it, so we will say like, I have some sensations, and that's due to the nose receptors that are present in your nose, and that's again your stimulus. But here you can ask me one thing, like this is plants, animals, microbes, so if I call an animal or if I do something to animal, he will respond me very quickly. But what about the plants? If I say mango mango tree, please come here. So will he come? Definitely not, he will come. So it's actually different organisms respond differently to different stimulus. For example, if I'm talking about plants, so you have seen geotropism. That means plants are responding to the gravity. If I'm talking about phototropism, you have seen the sunflower, right? So sunflower is what? It bends towards the sunlight. It is responding to the sunlight. It's not responding to you. It's actually responding to the sunlight. So consciousness is again the defining feature. It is not present anywhere else. But one contradiction here again. What's the contradiction? We have seen various brain dead people or the coma people. They are lying in coma. They do not respond to us. So can we call them? Then again consciousness is not defining for them. But yes, here we have one thing, that consciousness is present in them, but the receptors are not responding or something else. So those people who are in coma, we call them as neither living nor non-living because they are supported by some machineries, right? So these are the main four characteristics that defines the life and that are present. Growth and reproduction are not present in all the growth is present in all, reproduction is not seen in all, metabolism and consciousness are definitely will be seen in all the living creatures. Now one more is there, that is the cellular organization. That's not given in our textbook NCERT, but let's talk about that because that is seen in various questions. So what is cellular organization is actually for example, a wall is made up of bricks. Every organism is made up of cell. Nothing less than the structure of cell is living. Cell से छोटा कुछ भी जिंदा नहीं होता. We have seen the viruses जो acellular है. Have we classified them? We have not classified them. We have a virology study for them, but they are actually not living. They are the boundary between living and non-living. So anything, her organism, either it is micro, animal, plant, whatever it is, it will have the cell. So I hope you understood these 4-5 criteria and you will not confuse between them. Thank you for listening so patiently. Thank you.